Hi friends, I'm Jenny. I am a former chef and we are a large family living the sweet life, La Dolce Vita. On my channel, I'll be showing you great recipes, large family style, and we'll have lots of fun along the way. Don't forget to hit subscribe and like my channel so that you never miss one of my great recipes. So let's get started. Today we are going to be making a traditional basil pesto and we're going to be pairing that with an amazing baked salmon. So come join us. Hi friends. Okay, so today we are making a traditional or somewhat traditional basil pesto. And I just got 4 ounces of basil that I washed and dried and destemmed. So that's what's right here. I did 3 garlic cloves. I like to cook mine a little bit, roast it a little bit in some olive oil, just because I don't like it if the raw garlic flavor is overpowering in my pesto. But if that is your preference and you like the raw garlic, please feel free to do it that way. It's delicious. And then I'm choosing to use organic walnuts over pine nuts today. I do love pine nuts in pesto, but with the cost of pine nuts right now, I just have been using walnuts. And honestly, I can't tell that much of a difference. It makes a delicious pesto and it saves quite a bit of money. So I go with the walnuts. And then I do spend a little bit more on the Parmesan cheese when I'm making pesto. I get this one at Costco. Theirs is a little bit more aged and it is really delicious. It has a nice kind of crystallized texture to it when you bite into it, and it makes a really great pesto. So I'm just going to kind of cube this up. I'm going to pulverize it in the food processor and we'll use that in today's pesto. And then of course, olive oil is extremely important. So when you're choosing an olive oil, I always try to find one that is single origin and traceable with a harvest date. So if you can find something like that that's reasonably priced, even better. I found this one on Amazon. It's a Greek olive oil. I kind of go back and forth between Greek. I love Greek olive oils and I also love Italian olive oils. This one I'm not as familiar with. Actually, this is going to probably be the first recipe that I'm using this in. And but I think it's going to be good. And this is a single origin and it was pretty reasonable price on Amazon. So that's where I got that. And then I have this beautiful salmon that I'm going to be using today. And we are just going to simply season this with salt and some fresh ground pepper. So ingredients today are fresh basil. You've got some roasted garlic, walnuts, Parmesan cheese, salt, fresh ground pepper, olive oil, and then of course your salmon. Okay, so first I cut the whole wedge of Parmesan cheese into chunks. And we are just going to put this in the food processor. And then you see these little flakes that come off. These are so good. They are crystallized. And that comes with the aging process. And it has such a good flavor. And it's really great in the pesto. So I highly suggest that you go with a little bit more aged Parmesan cheese and not just like the Kraft in the green bottle. This will produce a superior pesto. Parmesan cheese is an important part of the pesto, and so I think that flavor is really important. Okay, so I am going to food process this, and once we are done, I'll be right back. Okay, we are done. So now we have this nice fine Parmesan cheese. And this will go perfect in the pesto. So I'm just going to put this in a bowl and then we will get started on the next step. Okay, so the next step, I like to take the nuts and I go ahead and do a separate step, just like I did with the Parmesan cheese, and I grind these first. And the reason why is because I don't want my pesto to be like completely pureed. So for me, it works better if I do things in steps and then incorporate it all together. So you still have a really good texture to your pesto when it's done. So I'm gonna grind this up real quick in the processor and I'll be right back. Okay. Nuts are done. So you just want them, fine. And I'm going to put that in a bowl and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next step, and I'm just going to start with my garlic, and I am going to just put that in there. I don't know about you guys, but we just got done. We had a huge party for Thanksgiving. Then we ate our way through till Christmas Eve. Then we had another dinner party where we, ate really rich foods. And then, we rested yesterday and ate more rich food. And so the whole family, and there's 7 of us, we're wanting to lighten things up a little bit. And so this is a really great way to do it. When I lighten things up, I normally will focus on not too much food like for breakfast and lunch. And then dinner, I focus on a healthy protein with some sort of healthy fat. In this case, it's going to be the pesto. And then I personally will not eat the carbs. So I don't do keto or anything like that, but I do like a lower carb, lower fat, high protein diet. It helps me stay at the weight that I like to be at. And so tonight we'll just do for me, I'm just going to do the baked salmon, and I'm going to pair that with either a salad or maybe some steamed broccoli. And then the kids will have the salmon, and they love pesto. It's like their very favorite thing. And they'll eat that with some sort of like potato or rice or something. We'll do it that way. And then they'll also have the salad and veggies. So what I'm going to do is I put my garlic in there, and I'm adding my basil, and I'm just going to break this down a little bit with the food processor. We're just going to pulse this a few times. But I do know that I like a lot of cheese, so I do a good amount of Parmesan cheese. I just think pesto is good when it's really Parmesan-y. So I'm going to do a good amount of that. And then I'm going to hit it with a little olive oil because I know we're going to need some. Whoops. Like that. And then I don't make my pesto super thin with olive oil because you can thin it out with pasta water. And or you can add more olive oil if you want it on your meat. And if you're using pasta, then you can thin it out with pasta water. So you just want enough to kind of make it a sauce. Let's see here. Okay, so now I'm just going to pulse this. And then we'll add some more oil, because it's definitely going to need a little more. And some salt and pepper. And then we will taste. I'm just going to do a couple pinches of salt and fresh ground pepper. I do grind my pepper every day. So I like fresh ground pepper. I don't have one of those fancy ones where it does it for you. I need to think about getting one of those. But for right now, I just use like my little ninja bullet and grind it that way. Okay, we are getting close. I'm just gonna turn this a little more. And once that starts moving pretty freely, you are done. Very good. Okay. So this is definitely the texture that I want and the consistency that I like. And I am just going to test for salt. And for me, that's perfect. That's tasty. Okay, so pesto is done, and we'll be right back with the salmon. Okay, so we are done with the pesto, and we put it in a container. I don't like the pesto to be warmed up. I prefer it just room temperature. I just think it has a better consistency, and the cheese doesn't clump together or anything like that. So when I make pesto, I tend to use it that same day, and I make it within a couple hours of eating it, and it just stays on the counter at room temperature, and then I put it on top of my food. Also, that olive oil that we tried, that was the first time that we had tasted that, and it's pretty good. And so I'm going to let my daughter taste. Go ahead and tell me if you like it.
It's really good. She makes the best pesto.
I do. I make the best pesto. We love pesto. I mean, the kids, our 2 7-year-olds eat pesto. Everyone loves it, from young to old and everyone in between. So I'm very thankful for that because I love pesto and it's easy to make and it's healthy and it's a really good sauce. And it reminds me of my dad. So I like having it in the house. Okay, so now for the salmon, we are just going to, I just put it on a sheet pan lined with parchment paper. And I have dried really well both sides. One of the secrets to really good food is learning how to work with salt correctly. Salting is very important. I always pre-salt my meat as far advanced as I possibly can and let it sit in the refrigerator. If I can salt it the day before, even better. It's different. It's just like it penetrates into the meat and you taste an even salt flavor all the way through instead of it just being on the top. And to me, I can taste the difference. People might think I'm crazy, but to me, it just produces a superior product. And so I try to pre-salt as best I can. So we're going to salt this just a few hours before we're going to be eating it. So before, I'm just going to turn it over. And I like to get it nice and dry. Because this skin, I want it to be crispy. The little pastry brush. And then a little pepper. I use a squirt bottle for all of my oils. Well, I only use olive oil, so for all my olive oils. It just makes things easier. It's not beautiful, but it works well. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. And then by the way, I teach my kids to cook. They're with me all the time in the kitchen. Cece is my biggest help. She's my oldest. She's 15 years old. She's been doing this with me for many years, and I trust her, and she kind of knows my ways, and she helps me tremendously. So that's good, and that'll help the skin get nice and crispy on that side. And then pat this one more time, nice and dry. You can use any seasoning you want. The pesto has so much flavor and the salmon is so good. I don't feel like it needs too much, so I'm just going to go over it with salt and pepper. So I pulled out this salmon, beautiful salmon from the refrigerator. About 3 hours ago, I salted both sides. And I am just going to put this in a 400-degree oven for 12 minutes. This is going to give us a medium rare salmon, which is the way that my family likes to eat their salmon. We like it medium rare, which is going to be about 135 internal temperature. If you like your salmon cooked all the way through, or you like it medium or medium well, just add more time until you hit those numbers. So we're going to get this in the oven, 400 degrees for 12 minutes, and I will be back when it is done. Hi, enjoying a little vino. We have finished our meal. I baked the salmon in a convection 400-degree oven for exactly 13 minutes. This brought me to 136 degrees Fahrenheit internal temp. I put about 2 tablespoons of the pesto that we made earlier, and I paired mine with an easy, fresh salad. I'm going to go enjoy this, and we wish you all the best. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the like button, and we will see you next time. Ciao.